Hey guys, it's me. Just wanted to get these video lessons out to you before I completely forget. Made it to Alaska just fine, so if you're wondering, we're here. Let's talk about square roots. Square roots, basically, um, square root of a number is when you're trying to find what number times itself equals the number you're doing the square root of, alright? So if I just clear this out for a second, and let's get an example up here, right? So if I do 2 times 2, you know that that's 4. So the square root of 4 is 2, okay? So when you're doing the square root, you're trying to work backwards. What number times itself is that number that you're trying to find the square root of? So if I come back here, and I'm looking at the square root of 64. Square root of 64. So what number times itself equals 64? And if we think about our times tables there, we're looking at 8 times 8 is 64. So the square root of 64 is 8. All right. Moving on, we go to example 2. Now for this one, I'm looking for the square root of 36, but I have that negative sign out front. This guy right there, okay? That means I want a negative answer. So my answer is going to be negative, and then I want the square root of 36, and that's 6 times 6 is 36. So the negative square root of 36 is going to be negative 6. All right, I want the negative answer. All right. These are just some quick examples. This one here. Okay, I'm doing the square root of a fraction. That doesn't seem possible. Some of you are not very happy with me right now. But I'm going to rewrite this to be the square root of 9 over the square root of 49. All right, excuse my handwriting, I'm sorry. The square root of 9, we can do that. So we're going to kind of look at one at a time. So you look at the numerator, and then we can look at the denominator. What is the square root of 9? The square root of 9 is 3. And then the square root of 49 is 7. So in problems like number 3, what you can see is that it looks like a fraction. The fraction can be scary, but you're doing the square root of the numerator separate from the square root of the denominator. So the square root of 9 is 3, the square root of 49 is 7, and now we're done. 3/7 is your answer. All right. Moving on to number 4. Now number 4 looks really not good. Okay, I get it. But let's talk about what this means. All right. The way this is read is we're going to read this as negative 6 times the square root of 576 minus 8 times the square root of 121. All right. So we need to now in our heads be thinking, do I know the square root of 576? Do I know the square root of 121? All right. Now the square root of 576, that's ugly. I don't like it. I think it's mean that was even given, but we're going to go ahead and talk about the square root of 576. So we have to think about square root of 576. Let's think about what's 10 times 10 is 100, so it's got to be bigger than 100. 20 times 20, well, that's 400, so it's got to be bigger than 20 times 20. 30 times 30 is 900. Okay, so it's got to be between 20 and 30. So let's just go for it. Let's do 25, right? So just in the margin, we'll just do 25 times 25, okay? And 5 times 5 is, you know what, I need to move my paper. I need to move my screen so we can see this a little bit better. All right, 5 times 5 is 25. We'll carry the 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. Moving over, 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. All right, so we're going to get 625. Now, let's look at the number 625. Oh, I went 576, which means I'm going to have to try a different number now. All right, I'm going to try a different number, so maybe we try 24. All right, so yeah, I'm just plugging and chugging, guessing and checking, right? 24 times 24. Now this is kind of looking good because 4 times 4 is 16. which is going to give us that 1 in the ones column. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Moving over to the tens, 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. What do we get here? That's going to be 6. 9 and 8 is 17. Oh, look at that. We get 576. Okay, so the square root of 576 is 24. So negative 6 times 24 minus 8. And the square root of 121 I actually know is 11. So I'm going to write that down for us so we know it. All right. So we have negative 6 times 24 minus 8 times 11. All right. So we need to do negative 6 times 24. So I know I'm going to have a negative answer. It's negative times a positive. It's going to be a negative. And I'm going to just go ahead and do 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 2 is 12 plus that 4. So I'm going to be looking at 144 minus, now 8 times 11 is 88. And then final answer, then I've got negative 144 minus 88, which means we're combining them, gonna make a bigger negative number. I'm taking more negatives, or more from a negative, and so I'm gonna really be adding the 144 and the 88. And when I do that, 8 and 4 is 12, so I'm gonna carry a 1. 8 and 4 is 12 again, plus the 1 is a 13. 1 and 1 is 2, so I'm getting negative 232. As the answer to that one. All right, so those are 4 examples to go over that section, which I forgot to write down, but for the square root section, the assignment that was listed is good. Just roll with it. All right, so I hope that video helps you, and send me an email if you have any questions. It's my email address is not there, that's for sure. There it is. Kmock at clark.edu. All right, clark.edu. All right, guys. Hope things are going well. Hope this video helps. Bye.